One of the most important questions for a business owner in Florida has nothing to do with growth. It has everything to do with authority. Because most business owners, especially successful ones, spend years focused on building revenue, building teams, building systems, building momentum. And that makes sense. That's what grows the business. But at some point, usually not at the beginning, a different question starts to matter more than growth. I am attorney Sonia Muñoz-Gallagher, an estate planning and business succession planning attorney in Florida and the owner of Family Wealth Law Firm. And that question is, who actually has the authority to act when it matters the most? Now, here's what I see all the time. Business owners assume that authority would automatically shift to a spouse, a business partner, or maybe a key employee. And that assumption feels logical. It feels reasonable to think, well, of course, my spouse would step in. Of course, my partner would take over. Of course, my team knows what to do if I'm not there or not able to make decisions. But this is where the disconnect happens. Because in the legal and operational world, authority is not automatic. It's not implied. It's not based on relationships. It's not based on trust. It's assigned. And if it's not formally assigned, then in the moment when the business actually needs it, there's a gap. Here's the core idea that shifts how business owners think about this. Authority does not come from intent. It comes from structure. You can intend for someone to take over. You can trust someone completely. You can assume everyone knows the plan. But if the structure is not in place, the business does not follow the intention. It follows documentation. It follows legal authority. It follows what has been properly set up, if anything. And when that structure is missing, things start to slow down. Banks hesitate. They do not release information. They do not allow access. They do not recognize informal authority. Contracts stall. Deals that were moving forward suddenly pause because no one has the clear authority to sign and most likely follow through. Decisions get delayed. And in business, delay is expensive because businesses don't function well inside uncertainty. They require clarity. They require direction. They require someone who is clearly authorized to act. And when that piece is missing, even a strong, successful business can start to lose momentum. This is why business continuity planning is not something you want to guess at. It's not something you want to figure out later, because once authority is questioned, it becomes very difficult to restore momentum. Think about it this way. When everything is running smoothly, authority feels invisible. You don't think about it. You don't need to. But the moment that something happens, whether it's incapacity, absence, or even just temporary disruption, authority becomes the most important variable in the business. And if it's not clear in that moment, everything else starts to break down. This is why structure has to exist before it's tested, not after. Because after, it's too late. Now, if you've never mapped this out before, that's actually very common. Most business owners don't start here. They start with growth, revenue, marketing, operations, scaling. And then at a certain point, usually when the business reaches a higher level of success, there's a shift in mindset. They start to realize, oh, the foundation of this business needs to match the level of success that we've created. Because a business that is growing without the right structure underneath it is exposed. And exposure does not show up immediately. It shows up at the worst possible time. So instead of reacting to problems, the goal is to design a structure that prevents them. A structure where authority is clearly defined. Control is intentional. Continuity is built in. So the business keeps operating, even if something unexpected happens. This is exactly what I walk through in my upcoming free masterclass, step by step. Not just what documents exist, but how business owners in Florida actually think about authority, control, and continuity in a way that works in real life. Because this is not about theory, it's about making sure that your business can function without interruption under real world conditions. If you'd like to understand this framework more clearly, I invite you to register and save your seat for the free masterclass on my website at www.familywealthlaw.net/webinars. And once you watch my masterclass, you'll start to look at your business very differently, not just in terms of growth, but in terms of stability, of control, and of long-term continuity. And that is what allows a business to truly last.